But now if I look at my son that way, he's going to be like, "What, Mom? Are you okay?" You know? So it's a little different.
It is different. And before we started, I was telling you about this book that I'm working on, which is my experience as a crisis negotiator and
Yes.
how to talk to people and generate voluntary compliance. It's called GVC in
Yes.
military and law enforcement.
Walk us through that
Yes.
process.
So you want a kid who listens to you and but more than that, like believes in what you're telling them. You want to basically you're trying to recruit your kid to your point of view, and that's kind of hard to do, right?
It is.
So
It's a leadership role that
it is. You're kind of a mentor, kind of a leader in this situation. The authoritative method that our parents might have used, like if you don't do this or else, isn't going to work here. Like especially talking to your kid about drugs. It's the same thing. Your kid is not going to be with you 24/7. And so in that moment that they get someone who says, or have someone who says, would you like to try X, Y, or Z drug? Your child needs to know what to do in that situation. And you have to prepare them for that. If you're telling your kid who is getting dopamine stimulation off of gaming, who is they're using it to regulate their emotions, it's addictive, and it makes them feel good, right? Which is why people are addicted to anything, because it feels good. And you're asking them to do less of that. Like that's a tough sell, right? You're telling you, hey, I'm telling you, but they're like, what? It feels good to me now. Like, why are you telling me this?
At that point, it's an addiction.
Right, yeah. But like,
to some degree.
You don't realize that it's a problem until you have problems, right? So like if you are an adult, and there's adults that do this, who game, let's say, or drink alcohol, whatever it is, and that behavior becomes so problematic that it interferes with their ability to function well in their job, in their relationships, and those things start falling apart, right? You lose your job, you get kicked out of your apartment, whatever, you sleep in your car, your wife or boyfriend leaves you or whatever. And then so that you have the addiction, and then you have fun, right? That's why you're doing it, right? The thing and the fun, but then you get problems. And if those problems get so big, it kind of overwhelms the fun part, and then eventually you get help, right? You hit rock bottom. But what's happening now is parents are coming in and taking away the problems, right? If your kid's struggling, they're not doing well in school, you're doing their homework for them, right? You're doing whatever you need to do to get them through, and they're never having the opportunity to kind of face their consequences, and therefore you end up having a 30-year-old who's living with you, adult infant, and you're in this boat. So so what we need to do is get a kid to, and sometimes they don't want to, but you got to get them to come around to your side of this.
And how do we do that?
Okay, so first it's communication. So you need, when we were crisis negotiation, put me on a phone with a guy barricaded inside of a building, and he's maybe suicidal or whatever the case may be. And the first thing I do is I'm aiming to understand, right? I want to understand what's going on with that person. How do they feel? Why are we here today? Why are you in this situation? Tell me what's going on. I make zero judgments. I use techniques like reflecting back on them. If he says,
mirroring.
Yeah, I lost my job today and I feel horrible. Wow, you lost your job today and you feel horrible. I mean, that must be really hard. So just doing things like that. So I'm building rapport with them, and then eventually, maybe I'm opening open-ended questions. Why do you like gaming so much? Like, tell me when you're in this. Oh, I love it because I'm playing with my friends. Oh, so sounds like playing with your friends is really great. Yeah, it is really great. I'm like, okay, so we're having a conversation about it. So you're reducing defensiveness, and the kids feel like, oh, this my parent is understands me, interested in what I want, and especially if you start talking about something that kid loves, they're gonna tell you stuff, right? They're gonna really let you know why they're doing it, what's going on. Maybe ask it, so what are some of the challenges do you feel? You have a kid who's gaming, not waking up on time, not getting to school prepared, maybe not doing well in school. And you say, I see you, I hear you, I see that you're not doing well in school. Could that have anything to do with the gaming? No, it's fine. It's not a big deal.